In today's video, please don't neglect these if you want to get a high mark in your grade examination. Hello, Michael here from Making Music, and today we are talking about what I've seen time and time again people neglect in their grade examinations, and it's hurting their marks. So if you're looking to get a really good mark in your exam, you mustn't neglect these three things. Let's just say that. But before we get into any of that, as usual, 1,000,001 ways to play music, 1,000,001 ways to go about it. My advice is based on my education, bachelor's degree from Trinity, master's degree from Royal College, and been playing professionally and teaching for over 20 years. I hope you find something you like. If you do, great. If you don't, that's okay too. Whatever you do, please leave me your thoughts, leave me a comment, please like the video, and even better if you would subscribe. Thank you. So let's get into it. What are we going to talk? We're talking about those three things that you mustn't neglect. We'll summarize at the end, and as usual, I'll be leaving you with a top tip, so stay tuned for that at the end. First things first, if you want to get a good mark in your exam, you shouldn't neglect any part of the syllabus at all, okay? So we're going to be using the associated board format because that's the most popular. So basically you have to do your three pieces, you'd have to do scales, you'd have to do sight reading and oral tests. The exam is out of 150 marks, a pass is 100 marks, a merit is 120, and a distinction is 130, okay? So if you're looking to get that distinction, you really can't neglect anything. But this is what I've seen so many people do over my time. Sounds like I'll be in prison, but I haven't. Have I? No, definitely not. Anyway, so what I've seen so many people neglecting, which is the technical part of the exam. Now, you might be sitting there thinking, yeah, but Michael, your pieces, you get 30 marks for each of your piece. Surely you should spend most of your time focused on them. And yes, you should. I'm not saying you shouldn't spend more time on your pieces. What I'm saying is you need to up a little bit more on the technical side as well, okay? Because they are the easiest marks to get in the exam. So why are people throwing them away? Music is subjective. It's an art form. It is not mathematics. So it's very rare that you get either a right or a wrong. Put it this way. How many times have you seen a competition of some description, whether it be, I don't know, Eurovision or some kind of Olympic figure skating or something like that, and you've got 5 people in the room, and I bet you don't always all agree, do you? No. Does it mean that the person who won the silver medal couldn't have won the gold? Yeah, probably, because some people thought they were better. It's down to interpretation. It's subjective, okay? So, but what I'm trying to tell you is the technical part is probably the closest that we can get to some form of right or wrong, okay? So, your scales, can you play them, yes or no? Are they played fluently? Are they played with enough confidence? Yeah, you're gonna get the mark. With the oral tests, is this note higher or lower? There you go. Did you answer correctly with enough confidence? Yeah, you're gonna get the mark. So please don't neglect them. Listen, we're gonna break them down, each 3 of those areas. And as I said, we'll leave you with a top tip at the end. Okay, so let's kick off with scales. Love them or hate them, they are fundamental to the classical canon. You can't get away from them. Most of the music that you'll be playing is based on some scale, key, what have you. So, or however you want to put it. So you really should learn your scales. Now, some people have this idea that they can't play scales. They don't like scales. It's just not for them. You can play your scales. You can and you must. The only reason why people say they can't play their scales is because they've got it into their heads that they can't. And I completely understand that. And I was in that same boat as well. Scales on the piano, fine, love them. Could do them, play them all the time, no problem. On the bassoon, slightly different. Think about it, you've got different fingering for every single note, and it's a little bit different than on the piano. Obviously with the piano, once you do 1 octave, you can do another one, it's pretty straightforward. But on the bassoon, obviously that's not quite the case. And I got into my head that I couldn't do it. Okay, we'll do another video on techniques and about how to learn this. I'm not going to go into too much about that. We're just keeping it quite high level. So what you mustn't do is, I don't know, what mustn't you do? That's it. You mustn't think that you can't play your scales, because you can. So what I would recommend that you do, even if you are great at your scales, what I would recommend that you do is always practice your scales every single time you play your instrument, okay? And I would do it right at the beginning of your practice session. It's a great way to get your fingers moving anyway, so it's a good warm-up if nothing else. But by making sure you incorporate them every single time, these are just going to become second nature. If you do struggle with your scales, start small. Don't try to do everything at once. Pick one scale, two scales, whatever you can manage in a week, and say, okay, that's the only scale I'm going to do. And then hammer it out 120 times if you need to. It doesn't matter, but you must just put more time in if you struggle with them, okay? Okay, and the next bit, let's talk the dreaded word, sight reading. I know, it's horrible, isn't it? Ah, the panic. Never seen this before, what are we gonna do? No. Let's take a step back here, people. Now, the only reason why people don't do well in their sight reading part of the exam is because they just don't do enough of it. Simple as that. Most of the time, or I've seen it so many times, where students would literally start practicing their sight reading a month before the exam, a couple of weeks before the exam. Oh, because you can't actually practice sight reading. Yes, you can, people. You can, and you must practice your sight reading. Think about it. Are you as good at reading now as you were last year? As in letters, that is, just reading words. Are you as good now as were you when we first started learning? No, of course you're much better. You know what I mean. Of course you're much better now than what you were when you first started learning. The only reason why you're better is because you did what? You practiced reading letters. Okay, so why should reading music be any different? It isn't. The more you read, the more you begin to recognize patterns, the more it just becomes second nature that you start to just play what's in front of you, okay? Simple as that. So please just read more. It can be anything. So my tip here for this particular section is just read more. Pick up anything. Almost pick up stuff that you used to play before. Some old books that you learnt from before. Break it down. Maybe just do the rhythm. If you can do the rhythm and keep going, that is probably the most fundamental thing. Then start adding in the notes. Break the two up. Smash them together. Take it slow. But always keep going. Keep trying. Okay. And the final part, which I know is a bit oral tests. I know, people. I know. Generally speaking, oral tests has been one of those things where people actually, if they have a good environment, they play a lot of music, play with people and what have you, then oral tests tend to come pretty easily. But there is one element of oral tests that I know people dislike, can't stand, and that is, of course, the singing element. Now, if you don't like singing, tough, get over it. Just do it. People, they are not trying, or they're not expecting you to come along as an opera singer and present to them. No. They just want to see that you can hear what you can communicate. Do you know what I mean? So, can you hear what they're doing, and can you interpret it, and can you give back the answer in a musical form? That's it. They're not looking for you to have a fantastic tone. Even if you have quite a nasally voice, it doesn't matter. What matters is you try and you do it confidently. Trust me, if you go and you do the exam and you answer it confidently, sing it confidently, even if you're not a normal singer, natural singer, I promise you're going to do far better than if you just kind of go, oh, really shy and I don't want to do this. Bite your lip, whatever you need to do, and just do it. So, and what I would really recommend, if you are somebody who struggles with oral tests, is just listen to more music, particularly classical music, because that's what the exams are predominantly based on anyway, and the oral tests as well, and the fundamentals. So listen to your classic FMs, listen to Radio 3 here in the UK, but YouTube, great. There's lots of music on YouTube, lots of classical music, so listen to more of it. Simple, put it in the background. You'd be surprised at just how much you subconsciously take in if you're constantly being exposed to music. Then what you can do as well, simple things like If you listen to something, can you sing it back? Can you tap the rhythm out? Just little things like that. And if you really don't like your singing and stuff, go for a walk somewhere where no one's going to hear you and practice your singing a little bit as well. Okay, right, let's finish there. Okay, so in summary, everybody, so please don't neglect the technical. I know there's more marks available for the pieces than the technical, but put it this way, there's 60 marks for the technical. If you know that you can do it, you know that you've probably already got about 50, 55 marks in the bag. Barring a disaster, you've got those marks already, which is fantastic. So why wouldn't you make sure that all of those things are up to scratch, okay? The other thing to bear in mind is there's actually only 11 marks between a high pass and a distinction. A pass is from 100 to 119, then a merit becomes 120 to 129, and the distinction from 130. So the difference between 119 and 130 is only 11 marks. So don't neglect this part where there's got the most chance of getting those marks, the most chance of getting full marks. Please don't do it. Just don't neglect them. Do more of it. I know you can do it. That doesn't mean do less pieces. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying just make sure you adequately give those other technical elements enough time as well. So just the top tip to go, and today's top tip is get a buddy. Right? And you're thinking, well, I've got plenty of friends. No. I'm talking about a music buddy. Someone that you meet up with maybe once a week, maybe twice a week, maybe once every 2 weeks, but no less than that, where each of you plays to each other and you basically make yourself accountable on those technical bits and pieces. So if you are struggling with scales, well, why don't you practice them together? You play to them, they play to you. What about oral test? Yeah, well, you do a little test for them, they do a little test for you. Sight reading, let's see how it's going. Give each other feedback. Okay, so I know it's almost like having a second lesson, but it's a really useful way to do it. Believe me, I had some really great buddies over the years, and it really helped me to progress on the technical side. Okay, so I hope you found something useful there. As usual, if you didn't, okay, sorry about that. Hopefully the next time there'll be something a bit better for you. But please let me know your thoughts. Something you want me to cover in another video, let me know that as well. Send me a comment, do me a like, subscribe, the whole lot. You know what to do. And all I need to say is thank you for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.